Good morning, students. Suddenly watching me in this video, you might be thinking, who's this? Okay, so I'm the new one to teach you physics. I have recently joined the college, and myself, Simran Bhagoji. Okay, your new physics lecturer. Uh, our interaction might be much better than this in the classroom, but because of COVID-19 and lockdown and all, we are meeting like this. Nevertheless, let's go. Let's learn some physics. Okay, so friends, today I am starting the fourth chapter, which is named as current electricity. Okay, so when you heard this name current, you might got some shocking illustrations, some fearing feelings in you. Current means it will be danger, high voltage current, it will be danger, like that. From the childhood you might be hearing all those things. So when you think of current electricity, you might got some things in your mind. And as you know, nowadays you are staying in the home for the more time. You all are living more time, or you all are living with some appliances in your home, like you are watching TV, you are using refrigerator, you are using fans, mixer, or you can say all the equipments in the kitchen which you are using nowadays to make more recipes in the lockdown, right? Okay, so from your refrigerator to your laptop, from your cell phone to your toaster, from your AC air cooler to your anything it may be. So all the electric appliances, I'm saying appliances, domestic appliances which you are using in your home, are all operating or working because of one power. And which is that power? That is current, or that is electricity. Because of that only you can lighten your room, you can get cool air. Even to watch this video also, you are using the current electricity. Your mobile or your laptop is running only because of the electricity, na? So up to here, from your childhood, you might learnt some things in the current electricity. Roughly you have an idea about what current electricity is. Okay, so no need to give much introduction. So today in this chapter, which is known as current electricity, which is your third unit of your syllabus, we are going to study what is the physics lying in this current electricity. What all the things are there behind this current electricity? What are the rules? What are the laws? What are the principles on which this current electricity is existing? All those things we are learning in the view of science, or in the view of, we can say, physics. So all those things we are going to study in this unit in detail. Okay, so when you think of current, so whenever you watch one copper wire, so you can say current is moving in that wire. So at that time actually current is not moving there, current is not flowing. There is a thing which is producing current, and which is actually moving in that wire. That is nothing but electric charge. Okay, so when I say charge, you might feel like, yes, we are familiar with this word, because in your first and second unit you are studying in about this charge, some properties of charge you are studying, so you know what charge is. And here in this unit I am telling, charges, when they are moving, they will form one current. So in one wire, any one wire, if you are thinking like in that wire current is there, which things are moving? Charges are moving, electric charges are moving. So before understanding current electricity, I think we should no, you have learnt it, you should revise what charge is. So I think we have to revise what charge is. Okay, so charge is nothing but one fundamental property of the matter. Like mass is a fundamental property, length is a fundamental property, temperature, density, intensity, time, all the things we are having, no, like fundamental properties. So here I am telling charge is also one fundamental property of the matter. and here it attracts its opposite kinds and repels the same kinds. You already learnt it. Positive positive repels, negative charge repels, but when you keep positive and negative charge, they will attract with each other. This is one characteristic property of the charge which you have learnt already. And in the first unit and second unit you have been studying about the charges, and that charges were at rest. You have studied their some properties, laws and all things. At that time you have considered charge at rest. At that time charges were at rest. So when the charges are at rest and we are studying them, that part of physics is called as what? Electrostatics. So the part of physics which deals with the charges at rest is called as electrostatic. But in this current chapter, in this present chapter, we are studying the charges are moving. So that part of physics in which we are studying the moving charges is called as electrodynamics. Understood? Electrostatics means charges at rest, electrodynamics means charges are moving. So now you can think, you can conclude that we are studying this chapter under electrodynamics. Understood? Okay, so as I told you earlier, electric current is nothing but what? Flow of the charges. So how can we say it? The flow of electric charges in a conductor constitutes electric current. So in any one conductor, or before going to conductor, let consider in any one wire, if electric charges are moving, they will form the what? Electric current. So here we have used the word conductor. You are familiar with this: conductors, insulators, the things or the materials which will allow the current to pass through them. So in any one material, in any one thing, if current is flowing, if there is no opposition for the flow of the current, then that is called as a conductor. You can say the examples of metals. In all the metals, current can flow. At the same time, when you look at the plastic, or when you look at the wooden materials, so in that materials current cannot flow. So to them we have named as insulators. So you are familiar with the conductors and insulators. Okay, so how now we have to see how we can say that electric charges moving in a conductor will form a current. How we can say this, how we can justify this, means let's have some explanation. So now what I am doing here, I am considering one conductor. Okay, I am considering one conductor. Let's consider this as a conductor. In this, charges are moving. Charges are moving means what? There may be positive charges, there may be negative charges. They are moving in all the possible direction. They are moving in all the possible direction. So what I am doing here, to this conductor, I am considering one imaginary surface of area. At the middle, I am just imagining one surface area, and I am counting the number of charges flowing across this area. The number of charges flowing across this area. Okay, now let's consider first the positive charges. The number of positive charges moving across this area I am considering, and that too in the forward direction. Okay, so the number of positive charges moving across this imaginary surface, I can consider it as a Q plus. Q is denoted for the charges that you know. Okay, so similarly in the same conductor, negative charges are also there. So through this area we are considering the flow of negative charges, and let that be Q minus. So what is Q plus? Number of positive charges moving across the imaginary surface area, and Q minus is the number of negative charges moving across the area in the forward direction. Okay, so now the charge Q, we can say the number of total charges moving in the forward direction is Q plus minus Q minus. Yes or no? So Q plus is the number of positive charges and Q minus is the number of negative charges. So totally the Q will give what? Total number of charges moving in the forward direction. Okay, so also if you take the number of charges moving in a backward direction, you can get their q minus q. So the total charge will become q only by not considering the direction, or you can say the q plus and the q minus. If you take it in a backward direction, what they will give? Plus q plus minus q plus and minus q minus, because q plus is the charge is moving in the forward direction and minus q plus is moving in the backward direction. Q minus, the negative charge is moving in the forward direction, and minus q minus is giving in the backward direction. So all things comes there only. So the total number of charges flowing in the conductor, I will consider it totally as a q. Okay, so that charges, if they are moving in the conductor, means they are moving with respect to some time t. Okay, so the number of charges moving with respect to some time t, q number of charges are moving in the conductor with respect to some time t. So I can say here q is directly proportional to t, where q is the charge, electric charges, total number of electric charges moving in the conductor with respect to time t. To remove this sign, I will use equal to I into t. Here I have used I as one constant. So by this, what I can write? I is equal to q divided by t. Understood what I am saying there? Q is directly proportional to t. Q is equal to I into t. Hence I is equal to q divided by t. This only is nothing but electric current. Okay, what the equation we got there? I is equal to q divided by t. So this is when equal number of charges are moving in a same interval of time. Equal number of charges are moving in the equal interval of time. Okay, so this current we call it as a steady current. What we can call it as a steady current? The same number of charges are moving in the same interval of time, to that we can call it as a steady current. So this is q divided by t. So if when the current is not steady, means the same number of charges are not moving in the same interval of time, there may be variation in the charge or there may be variation in the time. So to that we can call it as a varying current, or we can say non-steady current. So at that time we can consider current I as limit of del q divided by del t as delta t tends to 0. This thing we have got in the notes also. See here, the electric current we have obtained. So see here, the first what happening? All the charges are moving in the random direction. What happening there? All the charges are moving in the random direction in the figure A. In the figure B, we have imagined one surface area, and in the figure C, we are calculating the total number of positive charges in that moving through that imaginary surface area, and total number of negative charges we are considering, q plus q minus. So totally it becomes q is equal to q plus minus q minus. Okay, so q is directly proportional to t and I is equal to q divided by t. And you can see here q is nothing but charge, which is measured in terms of coulomb, and time t is measured in terms of seconds. So roughly we can give the unit for I as a coulomb per second. So but it is having one more unit which is more standard, that I'll tell you later on. So this I is equal to q by t was what? The expression for steady current. The same number of charges are moving in the same interval of time. Equal number of charges are moving in the equal interval of time. But when the flow of charge is not constant, at that time we will get I is equal to delta t divided by 0, delta q divided by delta t when limit t tends to 0, that we can write it as dq divided by dt. This current we can also call it as a instantaneous current. Okay, so by all this by all these concepts we can define the electric current now. As electric current is defined as the rate of flow of electric charge with respect to time. So what electric current is defined as? It is nothing but rate of flow of electric charge with respect to time, and that only we are telling when the electric charge flow, then only it will constitute the current. So current is nothing but flow of the charge. How it is flowing? It is flowing with respect to time. So we can define it like this: rate of flow of electric charge with respect to time, that is nothing but I is equal to Q divided by T. And here we have given this coulomb per second as some system of unit. By system of unit we have given this unit, but by a SI system of international units, by that we can get the unit for electric current as ampere, which is denoted as A. So how can we define ampere? Here you are having I is equal to Q divided by T. I is measured in terms of ampere, Q is measured in terms of coulomb, and T is measured in terms of second. So the total, how you can define ampere? A current in a conductor is said to be 1 ampere. Listen carefully. The current in a conductor is said to be 1 ampere when 1 coulomb of charge flows through it in 1 second. 1 ampere current will flow. 1 ampere current is produced when 1 coulomb of charge will flow in 1 second. See, I is equal to Q by T you have, and by that only we can define ampere. A current in a conductor is said to be 1 ampere when 1 coulomb of charge flows through it in 1 second. Understood? And also we can say one more property, that is electric current is a scalar quantity. Scalar and vector, you know, the things which are having direction are called as vectors, and which don't have direction are called as scalars. So here electric current is a scalar quantity because it will not obey the laws of vectors. Vectors laws it will not obey, that's why electric current is a scalar quantity. Understood na? So in any part of the conductor, if you want the current to flow, there should be some conditions which should be satisfied. Okay, you can understand it like this. Okay, so this is a conductor. You consider, don't go through the dimensions of the diagram, it's bad, I know. Okay, so consider this as a conductor. Okay, if you want the current should flow in this conductor, so you should follow two conditions. What is the first condition? Means there must be a conducting path between the 2 points. Now consider A, consider B. Between the points A and B, if you want the current to flow, there should be a path. Obviously, if you want to travel from one place to another place, there should be a path, no? Without path you cannot travel. That's why for the current also to travel, you should have conducting path. Okay, and between these two, second condition is between these 2 points there should be a constant potential difference. Okay, if you are having the current here as 3 ampere, and if you are having the current here as 3 ampere, so it is same na, at the both the sides it is same. So why current should flow there? No need to flow na. So otherwise, if you have 3 ampere here and 5 ampere here, 5 ampere means here it is having a more current, the point B is having more current and A is having less current. So 1 ampere will flow here, and at both the sides we will get 4. So it will become equal na. So at both the points A and B, there should be difference. Constant potential difference. Then only the current will pass across that conductor. Okay. So by this you might you have to give some examples for the current now. Okay, how means you might see in the thunderstorms or in the rainy season, you have seen the lightning effect na, lightning effect. So this is the common example of current flow in the nature. Lightning is a common example of current flow in the nature. So there, how the charges are flowing there? Current flow means charges flowing, obviously. How the charges are flowing means the charges are flowing from the cloud to the earth. Charges are flowing from the cloud to the earth. Then which is the conducting path there? Atmosphere. The charges are moving from the cloud to the earth through the atmosphere. So this is one more example. So but there current is not constant, means or current is not steady. The equal amount of charges are not flowing at the equal interval of time. There may be variation. But if you think of steady current, you can see the charge flow in the torch, which is a which is not natural, it is artificial, but this is a device which is giving you steady current. The equal number of charges are moving in the equal interval of time. Or you can also see a cell driven clock. So these two are the examples for steady currents. Okay, so we are saying that the electric currents will flow only in the conductors, not in the insulators. We are saying because the conductors will allow the current to pass through them and insulators will not. So how the current or how the electric charges are moving in the conductors, we can see here. Okay, what happens? So here, in the materials, in any matter you consider in the universe, that is made up of atoms. Two atoms will combine and that will become molecules. So every atom, how the structure of every atom means, you know, at the center nucleus will be there. In that protons and neutrons are there, and around that nucleus in the several orbitals electrons are moving. Yes or no? Electrons are moving. So these electrons are negatively charged, proton is positively charged and neutron is neutral. Okay, so here what I am telling is, so in the bulk materials, all the metals are what? Tightly packed to each other. All the atoms are tightly packed to each other. So at the outer shells electrons will be there. So because they are tightly packed to each other, the electrons are not no longer they are binded to the nucleus. They will become free. Because of the tightening effect there, the electrons will become free and they are no more tightly banded to that nucleus. So electrons will become what? Free. So when the electrons will become free, they start moving. So the moving charges will constitute the current, you know. So how the electrons will move, that we'll see here. So similarly, same, consider a conductor. Let's consider a big conductor. Okay. So in this, electric charges are moving, and in the most important thing I need to tell you is in the solid conductors. So you might think there are liquid conductors also. Yes, electrolytic solutions are there. In the electrolytic solutions, both positive and negative charges are the charge carriers. But when you consider solid conductors, only negative charges, only electrons are the charge conductors. Okay, so here we are dealing more commonly with the solid conductors. So here I have considered solid conductors, and in the solid conductors, what are the charges, you know? Electrons. So here the negative charges are moving in all the directions. The negative charges are moving in all the direction, all the possible directions negative charges are moving. So here in this case, which is known as first case, we have not applied any electric field there. E is an electric field, you know, you have studied in the first unit only. The field around the charge in which other charge will experience a force, that you know, which this is electric field is nothing but the field around a charge. So in this case there is no electric field. Okay, but in the second case, what I am doing to this conductor, what I am doing means I am applying a electric field in this direction. So here initially what, all the electrons are moving in the random directions, but here when I apply the electric field, the electrons will start moving in this particular direction. The electrons will start moving in the particular direction, and you can observe there the direction of electrons is opposite to the direction of electric field. Yes or no? Hence these electrons which are moving in this direction will move in the conductor and they will constitute a current. Understood? So let's see the explanation. See, so in the conductors the electrons are moving, because of them only we are getting the current. Free electrons are moving. Why the free electrons are creating? You know, atoms are tightly packed, electrons are not bounded to the nucleus, and they will become free and they start moving randomly. So they will move with the thermal speed of the order of 10 raised to 5 to 10 raised to 6 in a meter per second in a conductor. So the same, we have considered the two cases. In the first case we don't have any electric field, that's why the electrons are moving randomly. But in the second case we have electric field, applied electric field. So you can observe the electrons are moving in a direction opposite to the electric field. Understood? So this is why the this is how the electric current will form, because of the moving charges. Understood? Okay, so up to now you have studied the electrons will move or the electrons will flow in the conductor and there will be the production of current, electricity, you know. So what after that? After electron starts moving in the conductor, what happens after that? That we have to study now. So some properties I have got here. So the very first I got drift velocity. So you know, the whatever the means whenever what the object may be, whenever it is moving it will have some speed. So if the object will change its position of rest, it's obviously in the motion. So when it is in the motion it will be having some speed, it will be having some velocity. So here also our electrons are moving, electrons are flowing, then only they are forming the current. So the moving electrons will possess some velocity. Okay, so we are considering here the average velocity of all the electrons moving in the conductor. The average velocity of all the electrons moving in this conductor we are considering, and to that only we are giving the name drift velocity, which is given by the which is denoted by Vd, the average velocity with which free electrons in a conductor are moving in a direction are moving. Okay, the average velocity with which free electrons are moving. Okay, the definition has been continued as in a direction opposite to electric field. You know it. In the direction in which you are applying the electric field, the electrons are moving opposite. Understood? So that's why we are having here the definition as the average velocity with which free electrons in a conductor are moving in a direction opposite to electric field is called as drift velocity. Don't be much serious about remembering the definitions. You just understand them. Nothing but what the electrons are moving. Okay, so they are having the velocity, the average velocity of all the electrons we are taking, the average velocity of all the electrons in the conductor. They are moving only in the conductor. So how they are moving, that you know na. The electric field you are applying to its opposite direction, they are moving. So simply you just remember the average velocity of all the electrons which are moving in the conductor in a direction opposite to the direction of electric field. I have not told this definition by looking at the notes because I have understood it. Understanding is important. Like leave it. Okay, so next we are having the formula for Vd as E divided by m into tau, where E is the magnitude of electric charge and capital E is the electric field, m is a mass of electrons, and tau is a relaxation time. Tau is what? A relaxation time. What all these things, what all these terms, don't be bother about it. We will be discussing it shortly. Okay, so how you got this expression Vd is equal to em divided by tau? How you got it? Directly if I tell you, so this is the expression for Vd and note it down, you will ask me the question, why why it is like this only. So we need proof now. So for that only, in physics we have practiced the way of giving the proofs is nothing but derivation. So let's do the derivation for VD. How? Okay, so here what I am doing here, I am considering again a conductor. Again a conductor I am considering, and to that, in that conductor what things are flowing? Oh, E. In the conductor what the things are flowing? Electrons. Electrons are flowing in the conductor in a direction opposite to the electric field. Okay, so to this conductor we are applying the electric field. Okay, so when this electrons are moving in this conductor, they will experience a force. They will experience a force F is equal to E into E. E to F and E. I have given the arrow mark. Why? Because they are vectors. Don't forget it. Okay. And here I am giving the sign minus sign, because the direction of E and electrons is opposite. That's why I have given the sign minus. Okay, so if these electrons are moving, they are having velocity and they are having acceleration also. So now I'll write the expression for acceleration. A is equal to F divided by m. Okay, and you know already what F is. F is nothing but what? A is equal to, we can replace F by minus E into E divided by m. So this is the expression for acceleration we got. Okay, remember it, because board is small, I have to rub it. Okay, so when that electrons are moving in the conductor, they will collide. Electrons will collide with some vibrating ions in the conductor. Vibrating ions in the conductor. There will be ions and the electrons are colliding with the ions. So that collision, the small interval of time between the two successive collision is nothing but what? Tau. So tau is called as what? Relaxation time. Tau is called as a relaxation time. And from where that relaxation time came? The collision of electrons and ions. Okay, so now we have to write the expression for VD. VD is equal to, I am writing U plus A into tau. So from where this come, you might be thinking, can you remember the equations of motions which you studies maybe in your high school classes? Okay, so equations of motion, V is equal to U plus AT. V is equal to U plus AT is one first equation of motion. Second equation of motion also you have, that is maybe S is equal to UT plus half AT square. V square minus U square is equal to 2AS. Like that equations of motions you have, but here I am using the first equation of motion, and from that VD is equal to U plus A tau. Instead of T I am using tau, instead of V I am using VD. That's it. Okay, so here we don't have, U is nothing but what? Initial velocity, and A is acceleration, T is time. We don't have initial velocity here, so let it take it 0. And A, the equation of A I told you to remember, minus E divided by m, and one more we have here is tau. Okay, so VD is 0, so we have U is 0, for by that VD is equal to minus E into E divided by m into tau. Okay, so now you consider mod VD. Mod VD means you can remove this minus sign. So what you can write the expression for VD is equal to E divided by m into tau. This is the expression which gives the equation of drift velocity. Let's revise this again. Okay, I have told you the average velocity with which electrons are moving in a conductor, in which direction? Direction opposite to electric field. So derivation we are having. The force this moving electrons will be experiencing a force, and that force is given by F is equal to minus E into E, and that moving electrons also possess acceleration. That acceleration we have given. From where this A is equal to F by M came, you might be thinking, na? You have Newton's laws. From that you have F is equal to M into A, force is equal to mass into acceleration. From that only this comes. So this F we are replacing by minus E divided into E and divided by M. Okay, so and then we are considering relaxation time, the small interval of time between the collisions of electrons and ions. That time we are considering as a relaxation time. Okay, so here we are taking V is equal to U plus AT, equation of motion. From that U plus A tau and the same things. Okay, I hope you have understood the things better. Okay, for good understanding you read them once again, watch the video, or you can save it also on your device. If you got any queries you can ask me. I am there in the group. Okay, thank you.